Today, we are diving into the story behind Dussehra, a big festival, lots going on. Our mission, basically, is to unpack its origin story, look at the symbolism, the rituals, and importantly, the lesson about justice. Why has this lasted thousands of years?
Exactly. And it's lasted because, well, as the sources show, this isn't just some old story. It's a critical narrative structure. It deals with morality, power,
Yeah.
specifically the danger of unchecked power, and ultimately the triumph of right over wrong,
Okay.
which is why it feels so universal. You know, the conflict is external, sure, but it's internal too.
Right, so if someone needed just one sentence, the absolute core.
The sources give us that directly. They define it pretty clearly. Dussehra symbolizes the victory of good over evil. The original phrasing is, "Avabo marabaran ka kalmadik ambulankan abur," the one. That's the engine driving the whole thing, that core principle.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because, well, to really get the victory, you have to understand the evil, right? The antagonist who kicked it all off. We need to talk about Ravan. The sources, they spend quite a bit of time on him. He was the powerful monster king, the Rakshas Raja of Lanka.
Yeah, but it's not just about his strength, is it?
No, exactly. It's his character flaws. The sources are specific, extremely arrogant, ahankari, and intensely evil. Dashed.
And here's where it gets interesting. His arrogance wasn't just, well, baseless pride. The sources actually point out that Ravan earned immense power through, serious penance, getting boons from the gods.
Oh, okay.
And that led him to think he was basically exempt,
Yeah.
above the rules, above morality, above mere mortals.
So that feeling of being untouchable.
That's his hubris. That sense that cosmic law didn't apply to him. That's the real definition of his arrogance here.
So when the sources say he harassed many people, it wasn't just random cruelty.
No, it stemmed from that belief. He thought he had the right to do it because he was beyond consequence.
Which leads to this idea of akar.
Precisely. The violation of Dharma. And for you listening, think of Dharma as more than just religion. It's righteous duty, moral order, the very fabric holding things together.
So Ravan wasn't just being a bad king, he was actively tearing at that fabric.
Exactly. Undermining the whole system of justice through his actions.
Okay, so that sets the stage. You've got this ultimate evil, Ravan, drunk on power, thinking he's above Dharma. And then the protagonist arrives, Lord Ram from Ayodhya. He embodies that righteous duty, that Dharma.
Right. The embodiment of the ideal.
But what really escalated things? What turned it into this huge conflict?
It was Ravan's most, well, shocking act, the ultimate display of that unchecked power.
The abduction of Ram's wife, Sita.
That single act, yeah, it shifted everything. It wasn't just about territory anymore. It became a moral necessity, a crusade almost.
So Ram's decision to fight back. The sources mention his bravery, but it was more than that.
Oh, absolutely. The bravery was crucial, yes. But fundamentally, it was about the defense of Dharma. You have Ram, representing the moral ideal, forced to step in and restore the balance that Ravan shattered.
It makes sense. When power like Ravan's goes unchecked, believes it's above justice.
The whole system has to fight back. There has to be a response.
You mentioned Ram's bravery, though.
Yeah.
Why emphasize that specifically? If the fight was primarily about Dharma, was there a practical need for it?
That's a really good point. It bridges the philosophy and the, let's say, tactical reality. Ram's bravery wasn't just about facing Ravan himself. Think about the sheer scale of the task.
Okay.
Ravan wasn't just powerful. He was secure in Lanka, this island fortress, huge army, divine powers.
Right. It wasn't an easy target.
Not at all. So Ram gathering an army, marching all that way, fighting what the sources call a great war, a Bahut Yud. That took incredible courage, commitment, moral strength, not just a good reason to fight.
So it wasn't just a minor border dispute. It was a massive undertaking.
Total breakdown of order requiring a total response. Absolutely.
And the outcome was decisive.
Completely. It formed the basis for the festival itself. After this Bahut Yud, this great war, Ram kills Ravan. The act is called Ravan Ka Vad and rescues Sita.
The narrative arc is complete then. Violation, response, battle, restoration of justice.
Exactly.
Okay, now this is where, for me, it gets really interesting. Connecting that ancient story to what people do today. We don't just tell the story. We actually reenact a key part of it, symbolically.
In a very public way.
The burning of Ravan's effigies.
Yeah.
Huge structures, right? Often filled with fireworks.
Massive spectacles, yes.
Yeah.
And the sources treat this as the physical manifestation of that philosophical victory.
It's not just celebrating Ram winning a fight.
No, it's deeper. It's a ritualistic destruction of evil. The sources say the act, the burning, Divakani, the Trekshan Tal Karmali, It demonstrates the destruction of evil itself.
And it's communal.
Very communal. Everyone gathers. Think about it. You watch this symbol of arrogance, Ravan, literally go up in flames, collapse.
There's a power in that shared
A
experience.
huge power. It's an annual physical catharsis for the community.
Yeah.
Justice is seen to be done dramatically, publicly. It reinforces the moral lesson for everyone there. It's like a public renewal of commitment to Dharma.
Which brings us back to that core theme. And the sources emphasize this isn't just about Rama and Ravana. This lesson is bigger.
It is. The core teaching from all this is pretty unwavering. Good triumphs over evil, always. And the sources add an important qualifier. No matter how difficult the struggle.
The difficulty doesn't change the outcome.
Or the necessity of the fight. Good wins, even when it's hard fought.
And broadening the context for you listening, the sources point out this day, Dussehra, isn't only tied to the Ramayana in many places.
That's right. There's a strong connection to the other great epic, the Mahabharata.
Which isn't just a side note, is it? It actually reinforces the main theme.
It absolutely does. Because the pattern is identical. The Mahabharata connection celebrates the Pandavas' victory.
The virtuous brothers.
Right, over the corrupt Duryodhana and his side. And Duryodhana, just like Ravana, well, he was driven by arrogance, greed, a sense that the rules didn't apply to him, especially about power, inheritance.
Another violation of Dharma.
Exactly. So whether it's Ravana's arrogance leading to Sita's abduction or Duryodhana's greed leading to the Pandavas' exile, the fundamental conflict is the same.
Those who violate Dharma
Are ultimately defeated by those who uphold it. That's the consistent message across both epics tied to this day.
So bringing it all together, what does this mean for us now?
Well, the sources put it quite directly. Dussehra reminds everyone to celebrate the victory of Dharma and justice. Dharma or Nyaya ki jeet. It's like an annual call to action. Uphold these principles. It sets a moral compass for the year, reminding us that the fight for justice, even against what looks like unbeatable power, is actually winnable.
But it also raises a question, doesn't it?
It definitely does. If these epic heroes, Ram, the Pandavas, figures who embodied virtue, if they face such immense, costly, bloody struggles to restore order.
How do we do it?
Exactly. How do we define and fight for justice, for Dharma, in our complicated modern world, where the enemies might be systems or hidden biases, not just a 10-headed demon king?
The sources make it clear the battle is never easy, even for heroes.
Never easy.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the nuggets we've pulled out for you today. We've looked at the arrogant Ravan, the Ahankari king. We saw Ram's fight as a necessary defense of Dharma and Sita. We touched on the reality of that great war, the Bahut Yudh. And importantly, the symbolism of burning that effigy, that communal act showing good, finally triumphing over evil.
Right. And while the festival Dussehra really focuses on celebrating the destruction of that external evil, the Ravan we see burn, the sources kind of imply that the real battle for Dharma, well, that's continuous. It doesn't end when the fireworks stop.
It just shifts.
It would be inwards. Which leads to a final thought for you to chew on, building on why Ravana failed.
If Ram's victory needed not just bravery, but this strict, difficult, self-sacrificing commitment to justice, what personal advice, what form of internal arrogance, the same kind that doomed Ravana, that doomed Duryodhana, do you need to constantly battle within yourself?
To align yourself with Dharma and justice.
Exactly. That fight against the inner villain, your own hubris. Well, that's a deep dive, maybe worth taking on your own.
Something to think about. We really hope this deep dive helps you appreciate the layers and the continuing relevance of this ancient, powerful story. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.